Welcome back to the hyperbolic coding chamber. We are back once again to test our mettle within the confines of battle. So, yesterday we didn't do too bad. Somehow we were able to make progress. It seems that our power level has multiplied by a factor of 300 because we are stamping through these problems. So maybe we're up next. So yeah, something about I knew something was flames about the easies, because I remember we were doing a bunch of medium problems. We'd done like 40 medium problems, and I was like, sometimes I'll get an easy, and I have no ability to actually like handle like a regular string fundamental like array like basic number problem. That's why we did so many easies. I was hoping to eradicate that. And also, just make each day a little bit more predictable, since each day being... there's good and bad to challenging oneself. I got to challenge myself enough to make sure that I still show up tomorrow, and not so much that I don't want to show up at all. So it is a battle, but the easies have been working very well, and they're definitely feeding the completionist part of my brain. But... we do have some comments, so let's take a look at those. So we have a comment from Jeans0, absolutely legendary comment. Another day, another time limit exceeded. True though. Are there any truers? Truer words have never been spoken. So true. Yeah, that's the thing. Doing it every day is just another way to make sure that we practice staying on TLE. So you got it. If you're not getting TLE, then you're not doing the right problems. And then we have a comment from Rahul Mishra. Hey Manny, I am currently learning data structured algorithm. What do you think I should do as a freshie in coding? Oh, this is a tough question. Always depends on your goals. I'm definitely in the beginning of my coding journey. I've only been coding for like professionally, air quotes, professionally maybe 2 years, so I don't have a ton of experience, but want to get to that 10x, want to become that 10x guy, but we shall see. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's not possible for all of us, so hopefully it's possible for me, but I'm not certain yet. But that would be cool. But yeah, hoping to get there, but we shall definitely see. But depends on, I think the learning DSNA always depends on your goals. If it's LC, explore cards, and extra reading is great. So if you're trying to learn data structures, the LeetCode explore cards, and they kept cracking the coding interview, which is an okay book. I would recommend something like Algorithm Design Manual or Elements of Programming. These are kind of the standard tier bangers in the field right now, so those would be pretty cool. But yeah, those are hardcore, and I remember when I was recommended starting to read those books like 2 years ago. When you're just starting out, I didn't understand any of it. I just didn't get it, and it just felt kind of discouraging to read through the book, and everyone was just like, just read the book, bro. And the book wasn't making any sense. So I think in the beginning, I think all that matters is just staying consistent. So anything you can do to stay consistent is the wave. So I would say anything you can do to stay consistent, if that is making a project in your free time, if that's implementing all the data structures and algorithms, I would say just try and stay consistent is probably the best thing as a freshie in coding. I think it seems no matter where you are, staying consistent is the wave. So if you're a legendary god tier programmer, you probably got there by staying consistent, at least to some respect. And I think what's cool is that there are always layers to consistency. You don't have to go to the gym every day, but if you go to the gym once a week, that's pretty good. If you go to the gym even once every 2 weeks, that's 52 times you went to the gym that year. You're going to have something to show. So that's pretty cool, but that's kind of the goal of the channel. So also, the game dev is going great. So you should hop over to that game dev channel if that's something you are interested in. So yeah, I think I have something pretty cool in mind I think I have a cool topic to think about, but I probably talk about it on the game dev channel. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely go to that channel and check it out, because it's a pretty epic channel. And what's cooler than the channel itself is actually the Hyperbolic Coding Chamber Discord, where we have hundreds of thousands of people joining every single day, talking about new coding problems, new cheat codes. We were able to inject a version of ChatGPT into every modern operating system today, but it's going to require a specific sequence of keyboard strokes and also sounds and also like physically spoken words to activate it. So if you want that secret set of codes, that secret set of keystrokes and verbal passcode to say to the computer to authorize GPT to spawn, right, in a sub process within your computer, you're going to want to join the Discord for that because it makes everything better. So yeah, so I think we're going to jump into it today. I wish we started a bit earlier. I think we're going to try and split the sessions. So I'll do LeetCode in the morning and game dev after, because bundling up 2 hours at the end of the day is kind of balls, if I'm going to be honest. So maybe the wave will actually be game dev in the morning and then LeetCode at night. So actually maybe LeetCode in the morning. LeetCode, something about LeetCode just helps me center. So maybe we'll do LeetCode then. And yeah, we're going to jump into the hour session banger as per usual. And actually before we do that, actually no, let's jump into it. We're going to jump into it as per usual. So we have 1 hour on the clock. And thank you for all the lovely comments. We're going to jump into... Oh yeah, we were working on this problem, and for some reason my brain was farting. Given a 0-indexed integer array nums, return true if it can be made strictly increasing after removing exactly one element. Did we solve this? We haven't. Or false otherwise. If the array is already strictly increasing, return true. Array nums is strictly increasing if num sub I minus 1 is less than num sub I for each index. Right, and so this should be relatively simple. We should be able to brute force this, but for some reason we kept getting lost in the sauce. So I think we should be able to now we're going to create an inner array called spliced array, which is just going to be the nums array, right, that we copy into another array, and we'll splice it, right, at I and delete exactly one element. And then we'll go from m is equal to 0 to nums.length minus 1, or we can just do spliced array.length. And we're just going to say, right, that now we're just going to count we're going to count every element that is less than its neighbor element. So if we have 5 elements here, we remove 10. We do 1 is less than 2, that's 1. 2 is less than 5, that's 2. And 7 is less than 2. 1 is less than 2. 2 is less than 5, and 5 is less than 7. You get 3 comparisons. And I think the comparison amount that we're looking for is just spliced array, or math.ceil spliced array.length over 2. Right, then we'll return true. So we're just going to say if spliced array sub m, right, is less than spliced array sub m plus 1, we'll do ct plus equals 1. And if we check this for this one, right, we'd splice out index I delete 1, so we'd have 2, 10, and 5. We'd check that 2 is less than 10. Right, and we'd add 1. 10 is not less than, 2 is less than 10. 10 is not less than 5, and 5 is less than 7, so we'd actually get 2, or we want 3. So then we'd splice out 2, 1 is less than 10, 10 is not less than 5, 5, so we end up with 2. We finally remove 10, we get 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 5, and 5 is less than 7, giving us a total of 3. Maybe it should be floor instead. Spliced array. Oh no, we want the original array's length. So nums.length over 2. It's just unclear what's going on. Output is false. Expected is true. So you have 1, 2. 1 is less than 2. 2 is less than 5. 5 is less than 7. I think I see what's happening. We could change some. I don't. There's a way that I don't like our solution to this problem. It feels like there's an elegant solution, but or maybe there isn't an elegant solution. If CT equals math.ceil. We could add another. Could duplicate this line again, but it just seems silly to do that. I don't understand why I don't understand why this problem is giving me so much problems. Maybe it's more than meets the eye. Remove one element to make the array strictly increasing. If we pretend to ignore an element, then we just have to check if 1 is less than 2 and 2 is less than 5 and 5 is less than 7. Like, I don't understand how we're failing 1, 2, 3. They expected true, we returned false. 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 3. Count is equal to 2. The array is 3 over 2, which gives you 1.5 seal is 2. I feel like I'm doing anything right now. I feel like I just need to slow down and think. Actually, Something feels really ghetto about this. It just feels so unelegant. I don't understand. I said if the length. I guess one thing we can do is check if nums.length equal to, we can return true. Because you can always remove one of the elements. Something must be just absolutely off with how we're doing this. Let's say m is equal to 0, m is less than spliced array.length minus 1. Is 21 less than 100? It is. So we do, does 1 equal spliced, oh, I forgot I changed this. No, nums.length, which is 3. Nums.length would be 3 divided by 2 would give you 1.5. Maybe it needs to be floor then. I think what I'm realizing is this has nothing. think I'm lost in the sauce on this problem. I think, okay, I need to slow down. I think what's happening is I feel like I shouldn't be getting stuck on this problem, so I refuse to actually try to prove that I don't have to try at the problem, which is making the problem take longer. I should just... So we have spliced array. The spliced array is going to be 3 characters long. It's going to be 3 characters long, 3 numbers long. Valid number of comparisons is going to be 1, 2. Be the spliced array dot length over 2 would give you 1.5, and then you could seal it. Now, in the case where spliced array dot length is 2, then you do 2 over, or it's even, you'd have 4. Spliced array of 4, we do 1, 2, and 3. Well, 2 comparisons. 1, 2, 2 is less than 3. We have an odd number. We have 1 is less than 2, 2 is less than 3, 3 is less than 4. You get 3. Maybe we just got lost in the sauce. Maybe it's whatever the length of the array is minus 1. Oh, brother. This might have taken forever just because I couldn't unsee one aspect of this. We're comparing iterating once through each element. We're just not visiting one element at the end. Oof, yeah, something about that was really messing me up. That'll be n squared time, which is pretty bad. We don't need this stuff up here. We shouldn't need nums.length equals 2. It should still be the same runtime. We shouldn't have to make any new arrays. We should just be able to skip it. So I think we can move greater than or equal to 2, then we can say that base, if it's greater than or equal to 2 and num sub 0 is less than num sub 1, base plus equals 1. Then we can remove the spliced array nonsense. I is going to start at 1 and it's going to stop it's going to start at 0. It's going to stop once before the no, it's going to iterate over all numbers because we need to make sure that we try throwing out each number. To make this easier to reason about, except unlike last time, I'm going to rename this to skip index. Now that skip index, we have the skip index. Now we would iterate through as normal. Right, through the whole array, and the one element that we have to skip is already skipped by skip index. So we're going to check in front of us. We're going to have two variables, prev index, right? And so prev index is going to be if m is equal to the skip index, right? Then what we have to do is make sure that m goes to m minus 1. Otherwise, it can be m. And our next index will do the same thing. If m plus 1 is equal to skip index, then we have to set next index to m plus 2. Otherwise, we'll get the value of m plus 1. What we'll do is make sure that both that prev index is greater than or equal to 0, and that next index is less than nums.length, and nums sub prev index is less than nums sub next index, we'll do count plus equal 1. And if now we do have one last thing to check. If the array is already strictly increasing, then we would actually just return two. And then we'll keep that bit earlier about if nums.length equals 2, we'll return true. Then with indexes of starting at indexes of index 3, I think we should be good to return false. Next index is less than nums.length. If next index is less than nums.length, what does that mean? It means prev index has to be valid, as well as next index also has to be valid. Prev index has a tendency to go backwards. Next index has a tendency to go forward. Make sure that next index is less than nums.length. Remove 100. I see the edge cases now. Since you can remove an element, an array of size 3 can give you some trouble. Because an array of size 3 can shift down into an array of length 2 where it automatically equals true. Why isn't this triggered with 1, 2, 3 though? Because you can remove any element. I have one more case if nums.length equals 3. We'll count again if num sub I is less than num sub I plus 1. You can just call this mistakes. If you only have one mistake, if mistakes equal 1, we can return true. Then we'll add 100 as a case. This. M plus 1 is equal to skip index. M plus 1. Let's just say 23 is the skip index. And we're at M equals 0. If M plus 1 equals the skip index, then we'll say its next index is 27. But now M is equal to the skip index. So we say cur index on the 1 to get 962. M plus 1 equals skip index, which it does. M plus 2 we get 27. Now M is equal to 1. output is false. Geez, that problem was actually miserable. From my understanding, we should be able to delete this too now. There's something about the sheer data of it that is, there's like a really unique interaction between the requirements that make this absolutely miserable. This would be n squared time with constant space. I'd be interested to know if there's a linear time solution to this, because this is miserable. Okay, apparently there's a one-pass solution. What does it have to do with sorting? This is a good takeaway from this problem. I tried to solve it in a process-driven way, whereas this version that can do it in one pass is more about gathering information and then solving the problem by using by narrowing the data we collected into logical holes that give us the solution. Num sub index minus 1 is less than num sub index plus 1. Or num sub index is less than num. Yeah, that was miserable. Another thing to take away, I definitely pigeonholed myself into this solution. It was hard for me to think of another solution. I knew this. Yeah, so that's interesting. I think we'll stop there for today since we have like 4 minutes left.